Gujarat, Shri Brijesh Mirja, Honorable Minister of Tribal Development, Health and Family Welfare and Medical Education, Srimati Nimishaben Suthar. We also welcome Honorable Minister of State, Higher and Technical Education, Government of Gujarat, Dr. Kuber Bhai Dindor, Honorable Minister of State, Primary, Secondary and Adult Education, Government of Gujarat, Shri Kirti Singh Ji Waghela, Secretary, School Education, Government of India, Srimati Anita Karwal, Secretary, Higher Education, Government of India, Shri K. Sanjay Murthy, Chief Secretary, Government of Gujarat, Shri Pankaj Kumarji. A warm welcome to all the dignitaries on the dais. Namaskar, welcome, bienvenue, welcome to all of you. Government of Gujarat welcomes you all to the inaugural plenary of International Conference of Academic Institutions, jointly organized by Education Department, Government of Gujarat, Labour, Skill Development and Employment Department, Government of Gujarat, Ministry of Education, Government of India, and Ministry of Skill Development and Entrepreneurship, Government of India, in association with renowned universities as a precursor to the Vibrant Gujarat Global Summit 2022. We also extend a warm welcome to representatives and delegates from our country partners Canada, Australia, UK, Norway, and France, international partners, national partners, and educational partners. We take this opportunity to welcome academicians, students, research scholars, government officials, policymakers, thought leaders, and corporates participating in this conference. A special word of welcome for members of the print and electronic media. We begin this inaugural plenary with lighting of the lamp, an auspicious Indian ritual to mark the beginning of an important event, accompanied by the sounding of the conch shell and chanting of holy verses by Akash Joshi, Aparajita Singh, Forum Shah and group. Can we request Honorable Chief Minister and other dignitaries to kindly grace this ritual?
Shubham karotu kalyanam Arogyam dhanasampadah Shatrubuddhi vinashaya Deepajyoti namostute Deepajyoti parabrahma Deepajyoti janardana Deepo me haratu papam Deepajyoti namostute Deepajyoti namostute Deepajyoti namostute Harihi Om Chandrama manaso jata chakshoho Surjo ajayata Shrotadvayuscha pranascha mukha Dagvirajayata Om.
Thank you, dignitaries, and thank you, dear artists. We now take this opportunity to welcome our dignitaries with books, khadi kerchief, and a replica of the Statue of Unity. We request Principal Secretary, Higher and Technical Education, Government of Gujarat, Shri S.J. Haidar, to welcome Honorable Chief Minister, Government of Gujarat, Shri Bhupendra Bhai Patel. Along with the khadi kerchief and the memento, we are happy to present a book written by Honorable Prime Minister titled Convenient Action, Continuity for Change, along with Mahatma Gandhi's autobiography, The Story of My Experiments with Truth, to mark the celebration of the 75 years of India's independence आज़ादी का अमृत महोत्सव। Thank you, sir. We now request Secretary Primary and Secondary Education, Government of Gujarat, to welcome Shri Jitu Bhai Waghani, Dr. Vinod Rao, Secretary Primary and Secondary Education, Government of Gujarat, is welcoming Honorable Minister Shri Jitu Bhai Waghani. Thank you, sir. We now request Director Technical Education to welcome Honorable Minister Shri Brijesh Mirja. May we request Director Higher Education, Government of Gujarat, Shri M. Nagarajan, to welcome Honorable Minister Srimati Nimeshaben Suthar. To welcome Honorable Minister Dr. Kuber Bhai Dindor. Shri M. Nagarajan will also welcome Honorable Minister Shri Kirti Singh Ji Waghela. We once again request Mr. Nagarajan to welcome Srimati Anita Karwal, Secretary School Education, Government of India. Thank you, ma'am. We request Director Technical Education, Shri G.T. Pandya, to welcome Shri Sanjay Murthy, Secretary Higher Education, Government of Gujarat, India. We are indeed honored to have with us here today former Home Minister Shri Pradeep Singh Ji Jadeja. A warm welcome to him, and we request Principal Secretary Shri S.J. Haidar to welcome Shri Jadeja Ji. May we request Mr. Haidar to also welcome Chief Secretary Government of Gujarat, Shri Pankaj Kumar Ji. May we now request Mr. Pandya, Director Technical Education, to welcome Principal Secretary Shri S.J. Haidar. And we request Director Higher Education Shri Nagarajan to welcome Srimati Anju Sharma, Principal Secretary, Labour, Skill Development and Employment Department, Government of Gujarat. We take this opportunity to welcome all our dignitaries on the dais. We request Mr. Nagarajanji to welcome Shri Narhari Aminji. And we take this opportunity to welcome all our other dignitaries on the dais. Honorable Minister of Education, Government of Gujarat, Shri Jeetubhai Waghani, intends to take Gujarat to fast track in implementation of NEP 2020 as Gujarat gears up for the 10th Vibrant Gujarat Global Summit 2022. The Department of Education, Government of Gujarat, under the leadership of Honorable Chief Minister, has undertaken several all-inclusive initiatives that are aligned with the quintessential features of Honorable Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji's path-breaking National Education Policy NEP 2020. We now invite Honorable Minister Shri Jeetubhai Waghani for his address.
Honorable Chief Minister of Gujarat, Sri Bhupendrabhai Patel, Minister of State, Brijesh Mirzaji, Minister of State, Kuber Dindorji, Sri Kirti Shiv Aghela, my colleague Pradeep Siji Jadeja, Narari Amin, distinguished speakers, delegates from Australia, Canada, France, UK, and Norway as partner countries, various international educational partners, exhibitors from various corners of the country, representative from the reputed universities, invited MPs, MLA, guests, academic person, officers on the dais, and of the dais, my media friends and students. Honorable Central Minister, Sri Dharmendra Pradhan had come at Ahmedabad, posted for our program, but due to sudden emergency, he had to go on return Delhi. Of course, he has extended his best wishes to us. On behalf of Gujarat government, I warmly welcome all of you at Gujarat and India. Is it a matter of great pleasure for all of that on the occasion of Vibrant Gujarat Global Summit 2022, a global level ICAI conference pre-event aims to discuss various transformation and progressive aspects of the NEP. The NEP has prime importance in fulfilling and dream of Atmanirbhar Gujarat to Atmanirbhar Bharat. In this conference of 2 days, a well thought out discussion will take place among the world famous scholars and academic persons on various initiatives and possibilities in the field of education. I am extremely glad to announce that the government of Gujarat is one of the leading states committed to implement the NEP. This conference will bring out positive outcome for making education equitable, affordable, and inclusive for all. This conference aims to make Gujarat an education hub, not only in India, but also worldwide. In order to fulfill this goal, the conference will hold discussions on the following themes and sub-themes: NEP, equitable and inclusive education, multidisciplinary and holistic education, international of education, skill development and entrepreneurship, digital empowerment and ICT, enablement, accreditation, quality and global ranking, research and innovation, COVID-19 impact on school education and solution, teachers and faculty development for quality education. We are launching booklet prepared by Education Department on glimpse of quotes of Honorable PM Sri Narendra Bhai Modi on NEP, which is first of its kind initiative and really helpful to all state and stakeholders. Gujarat academic system is well rooted in it has provided leaders, academic person and industrialists. In Gujarat, we have world-class government and private universities which are not known in India, but of course, the world. Gujarat is on the consistent development path since few decades, and today Gujarat reflects the dream which was seen by Honorable Prime Minister Narendra Bhai Modi, and we are also fortunate to receive constant guidance and support from Honorable Union Home Minister Sri Amit Bhai Shah. Indeed, we are grateful to both of them and our CM Bhupendra Bhai Patel. Remarkable and noteworthy initiative of government of Gujarat is STEM, MISY, SSIP 10, IIT, etc. Today, we are launching SSIP 2, Student Startup Policy, which provide financial assistance to 6th standard to PhD students. SSIP 2.0 is first of kind policy in the nation. In addition to that, to provide a world-class innovation support, Gujarat government is developing a new infrastructure of Gujarat Student Startup and Innovation Hub for innovators. I am thankful to our Honorable CM Bhupendra Bhai Patel for his guidance and necessary budget allocation. I am happy to inform you that under the guidance of Honorable CM Sir, symposium was organized at Statue of Unity for planned a roadmap of NEP, global ranking and national ranking. To provide equal opportunity to the remote student, Gujarat government is planning for central data center and center placement feasibility. I appreciate efforts of my whole education family. Atal ranking of institution on Innovation Achievement Award, ARIA ranking for the 2021 has been announced, and I am happy to share that GTU, GU, LD College of Engineering, PDU, and EDII have secured rank in the respective category in the country. Under the visionary leadership of our Honorable PM Narendra Bhai Modi, Gujarat has made significant progress in school education through various initiatives like Gunotsav, Prayasutsav, Kanya Kevadi Mahotsav, Mission Vidya, centralized formative and summative assessment test, school infrastructure upgradation, teachers recruitment and exhibition reform, Gnankund Smart Class, G-Shala, and many more. The progressive legacy of school education reform continued under the leadership of Honorable CM Bhupendra Bhai Patel. I would like to share that Government of Gujarat has introduced Mission School of Excellence, an ambitious project to impart quality schooling education and infrastructure. Furthermore, Residential School of Excellence project objective to give benefit to 1 lakh students and additional benefit to 50,000 tribal students. Gujarat government is dedicated to promote natural farming, prakrutik kheti. To do so, vocational courses are added from to 9th standard to 12th standard recently. I am happy to state That vibrant exhibition is organized to showcase the research and innovation in the field of education with flagship stall of ISRO and Panch Prakalp. ISRO will showcase the milestone of journey and development in the Indian space program. Panch Prakalp, dream of our PM sir and Governor of Gujarat, connect us to our roots. Let me share that in the Good Governance Index 21, Gujarat is at the top of the ranking. In short time of 4 months, effective leadership of our CM Bhupendra Patel, Gujarat government achieved this milestone. I am request all participants to attend various knowledge sharing sessions and panel discussion and take the maximum advantage of conference. मुझे आशा है कि उपस्थित प्रतिनिधि, शिक्षाविद और अतिथि गुजरात में आपने 2 दिवस प्रवास का आनंद लेंगे। मैं गणमान्य जनों को गांधी आश्रम, रिवर फ्रंट सहित साइंस सिटी, स्टैच्यू ऑफ यूनिटी, अहमदाबाद सिटी के जैसे प्रमुख स्थानों की यात्रा पर जाने का और वहां विकास के रूप में हुए बदलाव देखने की सलाह देता हूं और उम्मीद करता हूं कि आप हमारे माननीय प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र भाई मोदी के दृष्टिकोण से प्रेरित होंगे। गुजरात सरकार के इस साइंस सिटी की स्थापना गुजरात सरकार ने की है, जो रोबोटिक गैलरी, एक्वाटिक गैलरी, नेचर पार्क, पेंगुइन और कई अन्य के साथ साइंस एंड टेक्नोलॉजी, ज्ञान और मनोरंजन का संशोधन है, जो कि देश में अपनी तरह का यह पहला है। यह परिसर हमारे माननीय गृह मंत्री अमित भाई शाह के निर्वाचन क्षेत्र का हिस्सा है। माननीय प्रधानमंत्री श्री नरेंद्र भाई मोदी के दृष्टिकोण को लागू करने के लिए माननीय केंद्रीय गृह मंत्री अमित भाई शाह के सक्रिय समर्थन से हमारी सरकार युवा मन में साइंस और टेक्नोलॉजी के प्रोत्साहन हेतु अत्यंत आधुनिक बुनियादी ढांचा बनाने के लिए काम कर रही है। इतनी अच्छी पहल के लिए साइंस सिटी को, मेरी टीम को मैं बहुत बहुत बधाई देता हूं। मैं इस सम्मेलन को प्रेरित करने के और योजना बनाने के लिए लगातार समर्थन हेतु माननीय मुख्यमंत्री भूपेंद्र भाई पटेल का सहृदय से आभार प्रकट करता हूं। वास्तव में हमें इस सम्मेलन के लिए प्रेरित और सहयोग करने के लिए कौशल विकास और उद्यमित मंत्री धर्मेंद्र प्रधान का भी आभार प्रकट करता हूं। मैं प्रमुख सचिव और शिक्षा विभाग के अग्र सचिव और सचिव, विभागाध्यक्षों और संबंधित विश्वविद्यालय के कुलपतियों, शिक्षाविद और शिक्षकों की पूरी टीम इस तरह के अद्भुत सम्मेलन के आयोजन के लिए बधाई देता हूं। मैंने उन्हें सम्मेलन की सफलता के लिए व्यक्तिगत रूप से सुबह से देर रात तक काम करते हुए देखा है। मैं सम्मेलन की सफलता के लिए आश्वस्त हूं और मुझे विश्वास है कि सम्मेलन राष्ट्रीय शिक्षा नीति 2020 के प्रभावी कार्यान्वयन में उल्लेखनीय होगा और हमारे मुख्यमंत्री भूपेंद्र भाई पटेल को आश्वस्त करता हूं कि सम्मेलन के बाद जो भी आउटकम मिलेगा वो न मात्र गुजरात को मिलेगा, पूरे देश और दुनिया को ये अर्क निकाल के हम उसके ऊपर एक रणनीति बना के आने वाले दिनों में रोड मैप के ऊपर काम भी करेंगे। पुनः एक बार आप सबका स्वागत करते हुए हमारी गुजरात की धरती में, गुजरात में गुजराती तरीके आप सौનું खूब खूब હૃદયપૂર્વક સ્વાગત કરું છું અને આ એકેડેમિક આપણી કાઉન્સિલ, એ કાઉન્સિલમાંથી ખૂબ મોટો અર્ક નીકળીને દેશ અને વિશ્વની અંદર મને પૂરો ભરોસો છે કે નરેન્દ્રભાઈ, અમિતભાઈ, ગાંધી અને સરદાર વલ્લભભાઈના ગુજરાતમાં આપણે સૌ શિક્ષા ક્ષેત્રે એક નવો ઇતિહાસ સર્જીશું। આપ સૌનો પુનઃ એકવાર સ્વાગત કરું છું। માનનીય ભૂપેન્દ્રભાઈ પટેલનું પણ હૃદયપૂર્વક સ્વાગત કરું છું, અભિનંદન કરું છું અને આપણે સહયોગ કરવા માટે, માર્ગદર્શન આપવા માટે, सूचना અને સૂચન કરવા માટે પુનઃ એકવાર માનનીય મુખ્યમંત્રી શ્રી ભૂપેન્દ્રભાઈ પટેલનો આભાર માનીને અહીંયા ડાયસ ઉપર અને મારી સામે જે કાંઈ ડેલિગેટ્સ બેઠા છે એ બધાનો પુનઃ એકવાર હૃદયપૂર્વક આભાર, સ્વાગતમ, ધન્યવાદ। થેન્ક યુ ટુ ઓલ।
Thank you, sir. આપનો પણ ખૂબ ખૂબ આભાર. At this juncture, we are very pleased to announce that Government of Gujarat has awarded the Center of Excellence status to 7 universities in the state. The 7 universities have been examined in the year 2020 in strict criteria. These 7 universities have been observed to be fulfilling all the conditions for getting the status of Center of Excellence. Students can get self-employment and the university gains international recognition. Translation, research, industry, 4.0 readiness, Meru campus, numerous benefits like schemes will be available to parents across the state and their children. Students and all members of the society are going to benefit as a whole. We request Honorable Chief Minister to award the Center of Excellence certificates to 7 universities. First of all, we invite Ahmedabad University, Ahmedabad. This moment calls for a thunderous round of applause. A very proud moment for Department of Education. We next invite CEPT University, Ahmedabad. May we now invite on the dais Charusat University, Changa. Charusat University, Changa. A moment of pride for the universities and the government and the state. We next invite DAIICT University, Gandhinagar. We now invite Marwadi University, Rajkot. A moment of pride, a great photo moment with Honorable Chief Minister of Gujarat. We next invite Nirma University, Ahmedabad. And last but not the least, Pandit Deen Dayal Energy University, Gandhinagar. Thank you, Honorable Chief Minister, sir. We now bring to you a film on higher and technical education in Gujarat.
Education. It enables, empowers, inspires, innovates, and mainstreams. Our nation has defined with modern vision and global aspirations. A truth born by the fact that ancient India was home to some of the world's biggest and most prestigious universities. Large civilization. Nalanda and Vallabh University were globally revered centers for organized transmission of knowledge. Today, our nation is on the threshold of being elevated to the pedestal of being a Vishwa Guru, reminiscent of the times of Sri Aryabhat, Sushruta and Kannad, among many others. Our educational system derives its inspiration from the far-reaching vision of Prime Minister Sri Narendra Modi to create an innovative and scholarly environment.
आज हम आजादी का अमृत महोत्सव मना रहे हैं। उस भविष्य की ओर हमें आज की नई पीढ़ी ही ले जाएगी। इसलिए मैं मानता हूं भारत की नई राष्ट्रीय शिक्षा नीति राष्ट्र निर्माण के महायज्ञ में बड़े फैक्टर में से एक है और इसलिए देश ने इस शिक्षा नीति को इतना आधुनिक बनाया है, इतना फ्यूचर रेडी रखा है।
The state of Gujarat is completely aligned with the forward-looking policies of the Government of India, promoting multidisciplinary and holistic growth education. We are marching ahead under the able leadership of Honorable Chief Minister Shri Bhupendra Patel, the dynamic guidance of the Education Minister Shri Jitu Vaghani, and proactive support of Honorable Ministers of State Shri Kuber Dindor and Shri Kirit Singh Vaghela. Gujarat ranks second in terms of university strength in India. 91 universities, including 9 institutes of national prominence, 1 central university, 52 private universities, 16 state universities, and 11 sectoral universities, 2,951 dedicated centers of higher learning, and over 53,000 faculty members support the higher education sector, thus catering to more than 1.5 million students. In the last 20 years, 132 government colleges, 16 state universities, and specialized sectoral universities as diverse as the Children's University, Indian Institute of Teachers Education, Institute of Infrastructure Technology Research and Management, Kamdhenu University, Gujarat Maritime University, National Forensic Sciences University, Railway University, Rashtriya Raksha University, and others have been established in the state for higher and technical education. The state is proud of its world-renowned institutions, which have catapulted Gujarat to a sought-after global education destination. In the last decade itself, the state of Gujarat has spent an awe-inspiring over 250 billion rupees, enriching the lives of millions and millions of students. Multifaceted initiatives under Knowledge Consortium of Gujarat and Gujarat Knowledge Society have played a pivotal role in ensuring that educational benefits percolate to the remotest corners of the state. Some hallmark initiatives augmenting the efforts of the government are Scheme of Developing High Quality Research, aimed at providing incentives to students for quality research in the field of higher education. Mukhyamantri Yuva Swavalamban Yojana, providing financial assistance to meritorious and needy students for pursuing higher studies. Rashtriya Uchchatar Shiksha Abhiyan, an initiative of Government of India, has helped advance more than 250 campuses towards access, equity and excellence through infrastructure support, promotion of research and innovation, skill enhancement, faculty improvement and development. Gujarat State Institutional Ranking Framework, aimed at instilling a healthy spirit of competition and improvement of quality through ranking of universities and institutions on the lines of NIRF. Study in Gujarat. Over 20 of Gujarat's topmost universities offer programs at the diploma, undergraduate, postgraduate and doctorate levels, thus giving students varied learning opportunities. Saptadhara, providing a platform to students to encourage their holistic growth through co-curricular activities. Student Startup and Innovation Policy, iHub. The state is ranked first in the country for promotion of startup programs. iHub has been established to develop an end-to-end innovation and entrepreneurial ecosystem in the state. Upgrading of technology, training and development of teachers, skill enhancement for employability, and unique schemes provide a strong platform for innovation and research, which are consistent with the hallmark of knowledge-based economy and significant steps towards a new India. Gujarat is committed to pursue the larger goals in education, and all its efforts are completely aligned to implement national education policy at the earliest. Shri K.K. Shastri Government Colleges Confederation covers 6 colleges, a pilot project. It's the first of its kind to implement national education policy in Gujarat, which ensures pooling in of resources and effective pursuit of higher education through multidisciplinary universities. With our initiatives taking the lead from all fronts and policies empowering people from all walks of life, Gujarat is all set to play a crucial role in the state of affairs globally and grow into the education hub of Atmanirbhar Bharat.
That was the scenario of higher and technical education in Gujarat, a very promising one. Today is also the right opportunity to release the NEP of India launched the path-breaking national education policy, which will create an enabling environment for quality education. Thank you, sir. We now bring to you a film on NEP 2020.
Path-breaking, forward-looking, empowering, transforming. The National Education Policy 2020, one of the visionary initiatives of Honorable Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi, has ignited a revolution in the education system of India with its holistic and multidisciplinary approach. Taking a lead, the Department of Higher and Technical Education, Government of Gujarat, with the guidance of Honorable Chief Minister Shri Bhupendra Bhai Patel, has set the implementation roadmap of NEP, which is being launched today. With a proactive participating and brainstorming of all stakeholders, a phase-wise, statewide NEP rollout has been planned. 20 focus areas have been identified for the systematic implementation of NEP. Work has already been initiated towards meeting these goals, and about 80% of the NEP initiatives are targeted to be at different stages of implementation in the state in the next 5 years. With this well-defined and focused blueprint to achieve the milestones of NEP, Gujarat has set the trajectory for its youth to take the leap towards a new global knowledge economy.
We now request Honorable Chief Minister and other dignitaries to release the SSIP 2.0 policy. Education Department, Government of Gujarat is launching Student Startup and Innovation Policy 2.0, a superior version of Student Startup and Innovation Policy to turn Honorable Prime Minister's dream of Atmanirbhar Bharat, self-reliant India, into a reality. SSIP 2.0 is an all-inclusive policy that includes all the streams across the education ecosystem, mapped out with a broader vision to include school students as beneficiaries too. Through this policy, progressive linkages amongst innovation, execution, business development, and market entry will be established. Thank you, sir. We now bring to you a film on SSIP 2.0.
Bigger, broader, and all-inclusive, SSIP 2.0 is being launched today. Gujarat youth are driving the change for Atmanirbhar Bharat, a vision of Honorable Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi. Taking a leap in this direction, Government of Gujarat has been persistently working under the able leadership of Honorable Chief Minister Shri Bhupendra Bhai Patel. Gujarat has been ranked number 1 consecutively for the last 2 years as the best performing state in startups and innovation. SSIP has reached out to more than 10 lakh students of the state with the aim to transform the youth from becoming job seekers to job givers. SSIP 2.0 plans to reach out to 50 lakh students across the state. SSIP 2.0 targets to support 10,000 proof of concepts, 5,000 intellectual property filings, and incubating 1,500 startups through a comprehensive support ecosystem. Gujarat Education Department's SSIP 2.0 truly is Gujarat's one more leap towards Atmanirbhar Gujarat for Atmanirbhar Bharat.
Gujarat has undertaken transformative initiatives in school education, and let's see this remarkable journey. Honorable Chief Minister is releasing the book on SSIP 2.0, the policy which will institutionalize a support mechanism that facilitates students through each stage of their entrepreneurial journey. Thank you, sir. Gujarat is undertaking transformative initiatives in school education, as I was saying. Let's see this remarkable journey. We bring to you a film on the primary and secondary education in Gujarat.
A symbol of revolution in the field of education, a new vision for the new generation, a futuristic approach, ensuring students' holistic development, mission schools of excellence. Our visionary Prime Minister, Shri Narendra Bhai Modi, has always been committed to advancements in the field of education. As Chief Minister of Gujarat, he introduced many path-breaking initiatives like the Shala Praveshotsav and the Kanya Kelavadi Mahotsav, due to which today almost 100% enrollment is achieved in schools across Gujarat. Gender differences in the classrooms has been eliminated. Student dropout rates have decreased significantly. Along with this, he ensured modernization of education and improvement in the availability of classrooms and teachers for students. Following in his footsteps, the Gujarat Education Department has made significant efforts to provide the highest quality of education to students. Moreover, during the past few years, the department has commenced a series of data-driven initiatives with a focus on achieving grade-appropriate learning outcomes. This initiative includes Praveshotsav 2.0, which focuses on daily online attendance along with enrollment. Due to this, within just 1 year of its commencement, students with more than 80% attendance have shown a 26% increase. That is, almost 13 lakh more students have started attending school regularly. Centralized weekly and summative examination, with the help of which data for each question of each exam of each student has become available. The artificial intelligence-based Saral app, which has been developed for capturing marks for every examination in a quick and easy way. With the help of this, Gujarat has been the only state that provides learning outcome-based report card for every child for every subject. Under the initiative of Gunotsav 2.0, Gujarat has become the first state to accredit all of its government primary schools. Command and Control Center for Schools has emerged as the country's first data-driven model for online real-time monitoring of schools. Along the help of this mission, all the government schools across the state with more than 150 students, that is, a total of 15,000 government primary schools and 5,000 secondary and higher secondary schools will be transformed into schools of excellence. To achieve this, the government will set up 50,000 new classrooms, 150,000 smart classrooms, 20,000 computer labs, 5,000 STEM labs, environment labs, sports equipments, resource room for children with special needs. A classroom for each grade and a teacher for each class will be ensured. under the initiative of Residential Schools of Excellence. Through public-private partnerships, state-of-the-art residential schools will be developed for grades 6 to 12, in which 1 lakh most meritorious students will be given admission after grade 5 on the basis of an entrance exam. For imparting quality education to students, these schools will be equipped with modern infrastructure, world-class residential facilities, as well as all other amenities required for the holistic development of students. Along with this, they will also be given career guidance and training for competitive examinations. With a focus on skill development needed for the 21st century, these schools will have a bilingual excellence curriculum being developed in collaboration with Cambridge University that will focus on critical thinking, problem solving and decision making. Under the flagship of Mission Schools of Excellence, continuous targeted monitoring of selected schools will be done from a dedicated control room at Command and Control Center for Schools, and an analysis of the learning outcomes of each student of the state will be possible. A team of Gujarat School Quality Accreditation Council GSQAC will evaluate these schools, and within a year 3,000 schools and a total of 20,000 schools at the end of 5 years will be certified as schools of excellence. Mission Schools of Excellence will bring about a groundbreaking revolution. Schools of Gujarat will become world-class due to this, and students will achieve grade-appropriate learning outcomes. With a rupees 10,000 crore budget, Mission Schools of Excellence is the largest education mission of India, which has received funding from the World Bank and the Asian Infrastructure Investment Bank, realizing our Honorable Prime Minister Shri Narendra Bhai Modi's vision. The unique step that the Gujarat government has taken in the form of Mission Schools of Excellence is set to serve as a model for the entire country to bring about the educational transformation at speed and scale. As we embark on this transformation journey, Gujarat has become the first state in India to set up an EdTech firm wholly owned by the state government, Gujarat Education Technologies Limited, GET, with a mission to provide high-quality digital content at affordable rates to private schools and free of cost to government schools. GET is all set to leverage the best of technology and drive the improvement of learning outcomes in the state. A resolve for every student's holistic progression, a new dawn in the field of education, for the development of each school and every teacher, and the promise of a truly magnificent future. Mission Schools of Excellence.
Well, that was all about the in attendance of Honorable Chief Minister of Gujarat and other dignitaries. We invite either Principal Secretary, Department of Education, Government of Gujarat, MDIEP, and Department of Higher Education, Gujarat. In line with implementing NEP recommendations, UNESCO MGIEP, jointly with Directorate of Higher and Technical Education, will offer digital and life skills course duly certified by them. These courses will enhance professional and personal skills. We next invite Cambridge University and Scope, with an objective to test the knowledge in specific areas of English language teaching. Cambridge University and Scope, Gujarat will conduct teachers' knowledge test. It will help to develop their English teaching and pedagogy skills. We next invite Indian Institute of Technology, Gandhinagar, and Department of Directorate of Technical Education. It is an external student exchange program for the students of government engineering colleges at IIT Gandhinagar. We next invite National High Speed Rail Corporation Limited, who will sign an MOU with Directorate of Technical Education, a strategic MOU which has been linked between National High Speed Rail Corporation Limited and DTE. Center of Excellence will be established at Surat and Anand to enable students of various engineering and diploma colleges to use its facilities to enhance their practical knowledge. We next invite Chandigarh University. This MOU has been linked between Chandigarh University and Directorate of Technical Education to provide technology solutions, curriculum revision, rankings, and research. We next invite Adani Foundation, Udan. Adani Foundation, with their project Udan educational trip, has signed MOU with Education Department of Gujarat. It enables more than 20,000 students to visit Adani Port and Power Station. We next invite Silver Oak University. Keeping in view the advent of electric vehicles, an MOU has been signed between Silver Oak University and DTE. Silver Oak University will establish a Center of Excellence for Electric Vehicles and IT for knowledge sharing. We next invite Indo-German Tool Room, Ahmedabad. IGTR and DTE have signed this to provide skill development training in the field of CAD, CAM, and CNC machines to the students of degree and diploma engineering. We now invite Ms. Anju Sharma, and we once again request Honorable Chief Minister We invite on the dais Kaushalya, the Skill University. This MOU is linked between Kaushalya, the Skill University, Ahmedabad, and Gujarat Technological University. The object of this MOU is that GTU will provide recognition to the credits earned from KSU in respective courses, programs, according to credit transfer. We next invite Kaushalya, the Skill University, who will sign an MOU with, who will exchange an MOU. This MOU is inked between Kaushalya, the Skill University, Ahmedabad, and Baba Sahib Ambedkar Open University. The object of this MOU is that BU will provide recognition to the credits earned from KSU. We next invite SMSR Infrastructure LLP. An MOU is done between SMSR Infrastructure LLP and Department of LSDE for establishing one skill hub near Anand district and 36 skill institutes across Gujarat state. We next invite Sorting Hat Technologies Private Limited, and we invite Mr. Ratan Kavar. We request Mr. Vinod Rao. An MOU is inked between Sorting Hat Technologies Private Limited and Gujarat Education Technologies Private Limited with an intent to provide free unacademy K-12 subscriptions to meritorious students of grades 6 to 12 and focus their efforts on preparing students for competitive exams. We next invite TMRW Limited. This MOU is inked between TMRW Limited UAE and Gujarat Education Technologies Limited. The objective of this MOU is that TMRW Limited will offer its learning operating systems, support command and control center with technical resources, and also support the curriculum reforms being undertaken by the state. We next invite Pidilite Industries Limited. This MOU is inked between Pidilite Industries Limited, Mumbai, and Gujarat Education Technologies Limited. The objective of this MOU is that PIL will be knowledge partner to GET. We next invite Vedantu Innovations Private Limited. An MOU has been inked between Vedantu Innovations Private Limited and Gujarat Education Technologies Private Limited. Today they exchange the MOUs with an intent to cooperate and focus their efforts on preparing students for competitive exams. We now invite PVC Gujarat University on the dais and invite Otemon Gakunj University, Japan. Otemon Gakunj University, Japan has exchanged an MOU with Gujarat University with the idea of imbibing students of the respective university with cross-culture consciousness and understanding, thereby enabling study in various areas of interest. We next invite Ms. Sonal Pandya and invite on the dais UNICEF. With this MOU, UNICEF and GUSEC, Gujarat University, will work together closely to enable youth of India to connect them to aspirational work and engage them as active change makers. We now invite on the dais Director of Technical Education and also invite on the dais Institution of Fire Engineering Gujarat Chapter, which will exchange an MOU with DTE, entering into a strategic MOU. They will conduct fire safety awareness training for teaching, non-teaching staff and students. They will also conduct the fire safety audit work for buildings. We next invite Indo-American Education Society and Directorate of Technical Education have entered to an MOU which they are exchanging today. This education society will provide guidance to the students studying in engineering diploma colleges regarding educational opportunities in the United States of America. We next invite Ideal Institute of Technology. This MOU exchange between Ideal Institute of Technology and Gujarat Technological University, GTU, to develop innovation and entrepreneurship hub under PPP model. We next invite Inverse Semiconductors Limited and LD Engineering, LD College of Engineering. An MOU is being exchanged. Yes, all these moments thunderous round of applause. We now invite Director and Technical Education and invite on the School Society and Institute of Teachers Education. School Society has exchanged with Indian Institute of Teacher Education to provide orientation programs and courses for the teachers of school. We next invite on the dais Erasmus Mundus European Union Constitution Gate Project, and the Maharaja Sayajirao University of Baroda have exchanged an MOU for research and teaching program for the benefit of students of all streams. We next invite Sanskrit Bharati New Delhi and the parties intend to cooperate and focus their efforts on cooperation within area of skill-based training, technical education, innovation, entrepreneurship, research, and problem solving in various domains. Congratulations to all the agencies involved. Let's round it up with a thunderous round of applause for all the MOUs being exchanged today. Shri K. Kasturi Rangan, the chairperson of the panel tasked with the drafting of National Education Policy 2020, is also a former chief of the Indian Space Research Organization. He also heads the 12-member committee to develop new curriculums for schools, early childhood, teachers, and adult education. We are indeed fortunate to have received a pre-recorded keynote message from Shri K. Kasturi Rangan. We now bring to you this pre-recorded message.
Sri Dharmendra Pradhan Ji, Honorable Minister of Education, Government of India, Sri Bhupendra Patel, Honorable Chief Minister, Sri Jitubhai Waghani, Honorable Education Minister of Gujarat, Sri Kuberbhai Indal, Honorable Minister of State, Sri S.J. Haidar, Principal Secretary, Government of Gujarat, Sri Nagarajan, Commissioner Higher Education, Government of Gujarat, several senior officials and bureaucrats from Government of India and Government of Gujarat, Dr. Karthik Sridhar, Vice Chairman ICARE, academicians, teachers, innovators, professionals, delegates, and my dear students. I'm delighted to be invited to participate in the function relating to the release of the report on implementation roadmap of National Education Policy 2020 for the state of Gujarat. the provisions of NEP 2020 into concrete actions on the ground, thus making Gujarat a forerunner in this effort to become a vibrant knowledge society. Having been associated with Ahmedabad for nearly a decade, I am aware of many positive aspects of education which the people of Gujarat recognize, learn, and utilize for a variety of jobs and enterprises. I will mention that I worked as a PhD student under Dr. Vikram Sarabhai and Professor P.D. Bowser, receiving my doctorate in experimental cosmic physics from Physical Research Laboratory affiliated to Gujarat University in 1971. We are all very encouraged to note that our Honorable Prime Minister continues to review and monitor the process and progress of NEP's implementation in different states and locations and bringing a sense of urgency for the realization of its goals. The state government of Gujarat is taking aggressive steps to enhance both the infrastructure and quality of higher and technical education in the state by inculcating technology, promoting mentorship, industry academia collaboration, establishing research labs, etc. It is interesting to note Gujarat in the recent past has embarked on several institutional initiatives in the area of education and learning, such as the Knowledge Consortium of Gujarat KCG, Gujarat Knowledge Society GKS, iHub, Society for Creating Opportunities Through Proficiency in English Scope, and Gujarat State Institutional Rating Framework GSIRF, among others. The KCG, established by the Department of Education and described beautifully in your document, is in response to the very theme of the current century, namely a gateway to the future, where the human world will at last come together as a family to create a network of relationships through harmonizing threads of knowledge. The GSIRF is an initiative by Knowledge Consortium of Gujarat and ICARE, an institution chaired by Sri Mohandas Pai and Vice Chairman Dr. Karthik Sridhar, which has been undertaking major efforts to help improve the quality of institutions in Gujarat for the past 3 years. I have learned through the GISIRF, the Gujarat University, of which I am the proud alumni, have been able to secure a strong position in the top 100 of the NIRF rankings for 2 consecutive years. I'm also confident that even as Gujarat takes a leadership role in implementing this policy, there will be several innovative outcomes that one can expect and which is unique to the state of Gujarat. At this stage, I find it appropriate to say a few words about the policy itself. With this last education policy formulated nearly 30 years ago, India now leads an educational system aligned with the aspirational goals of 21st century education, where while remaining rooted to India's value systems and ethos. The vision of India's new educational system has been crafted to ensure that it touches the life of each and every citizen consistent with their needs and necessities, besides creating a just and equitable society. The policy provides an integrated yet flexible approach to education. Further, it has kept the interconnectedness of the various phases in mind and how the same will enable continuity, coherence, and processes to ultimately realize an end to end education map for the country. This policy recommends the creation of a national research foundation for this purpose. The benefit of the research funding will be available to both private and public funded institutions. A light but tight mechanism for regulation is envisaged under this policy, again applicable without distinction between private and public institutions, providing a more cohesive structure for the higher educational institutions in the context of teaching and research, ensuring increased autonomy and empowered governance and effective leadership are the other features of the policy. On the whole, the policy aims at the development of all the requisite skills that are pertinent to the contemporary world for the learners, while giving enough flexibility in making choices consistent with the dynamics of a knowledge society. Needless to mention, the policy for its implementation does call for ensuring integration of different stages of education with its complexities and challenges. The Ministry of Education has already taken several steps in the context of specific implementation actions, particularly where the corresponding initiative does not call for changes in legal structures. For example, in the context of access, equity, and inclusion, at least 20 engineering colleges across 10 states will offer engineering courses in 6 Indian languages from 2021-2022, translation of MOOCs in Indian languages, sharing of infrastructure and resources among institutes, and creation of virtual laboratories, creation of student support centers for counseling physical and psychosocial well-being, among others. On the issues of quality, the National Higher Education Framework is in the final stages, as also is the development of Learning Outcome-Based Curriculum Framework, LOCF, for experiential learning, initiatives for establishment of a national research foundation, as also guidelines for internationalization of higher education. They have been also issued. Similar steps have been taken in the context of strengthening Indian knowledge systems in higher education curricula. Guidelines for mentoring new faculty and integration of technology, such as establishment of National Educational Technology Forum (NETF) and National Digital Education Architecture (NDF), are some of the other aspects which are in progress. In a major transformatory step towards providing flexibility and support for lifelong learning, the policy has brought into the notion of an academic bank of credit, ABC. The ABC promises to be a game changer, allowing youth to choose the appropriate time in their career to take courses as needed and providing them with the flexibility of accumulating credits over a period of time towards appropriate degrees. When combined with the multiple entry and multiple exit option also provided by the NEP, the ABC enables anytime learning, anywhere learning, and any level learning as envisaged in NEP. It can facilitate the integration of campuses and distributed learning systems by creating student mobility within inter and intra-university systems. I may mention ABC will also support lifelong learning since students will be able to accumulate credits towards their degrees over a period of time. In this context, it is gratifying to note that Gujarat has taken several early steps which in a sense, besides making the state an early bird in the overall race for reaching the substantial goals of NEP, will also provide unique and innovative examples for many institutions in the country to emulate. I take this opportunity to thank the organizers for giving me this privilege to address this august gathering. I look forward to the state of Gujarat to become a torch bearer of the legacy of this country's long and eventful history as a knowledge society. I wish the state the very best in this endeavor. Thank you.
It was indeed a pleasure listening to this enlightening keynote message of Mr. K. Kasturi Rangan. And we now move on to addresses. We invite Mr. Andreas, Director for Education and Skills, OECD, for his address.
Chief Minister, Ministers, and ladies and gentlemen, first of all, my congratulations to the state of Gujarat for the leadership you provide to advance the global education agenda. And the world needs your leadership now more than ever. If we have learned one thing over the last months, it's that the future will always surprise us. Life is always what happens when you're very busy making other plans. And to prepare learners for their future and not just our past, we need to consider not just the changes that are likely to happen, but also the ones that we are not expecting. And the more we are open to alternative futures, the better we are prepared for the future that eventually arrives. Today we still have analog schools, but they are just waking up to the digital reality that is going to fundamentally transform learning. We know how to educate second-class robots, people who are good at repeating what we have told them, but what it's going to make us human in a world in which the kind of things that are easy to teach and test have also become easy to digitize and automate. The NEP 2020 provides key answers to those questions, and once again, it's great to see Gujarat in the lead of making it a reality. So what could transformation really look like? Well, think of full personalization of content and pedagogy enabled by cutting-edge technology using body information, neural signals. Think of flexible individual and group work on academic topics, but also on social and community needs. Reading and calculating as much as debating and reflecting in joint conversations. But also think about hands-on work and creative expression that makes vocational education not a last resort, but a truly first choice. And it's great to see Gujarat schools also becoming learning hubs, using the strengths of communities to deliver collaborative learning, integrating formal and informal learning in ways that completely shift time and relationships. And let's remember that learning is never a transactional business. It's always a social or relational enterprise. And maybe one day we wake up and artificial intelligence, virtual and augmented reality, and the Internet of Things will give us true ownership over what we learn, how we learn, when we learn, throughout our lives. You think that's far-fetched? No, but think about, 10 years ago, what we would have thought about our phones and smart assistants today. And at the OECD, we have constructed many scenarios for the future of education, and the future could be any combination of them. And obviously, it's looking different in different places. But let's also think about some tensions and dilemmas we will need to resolve. What is the right balance between modernizing education and disrupting it? How do we reconcile new goals, such as the NEP 2020, with our existing structures? How do we support globally minded learners and teachers who remain still rooted in their local cultures and tradition? How do we enable learners not just learn for a job, but learn to create a job? And obviously in an entrepreneurial state like Gujarat, that answer is particularly important. How do we make lifelong, life-wide learning a reality? I know that Gujarat is finding good answers to those questions. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, for those warm words of praise for the state and its leadership. We now invite Ms. Monica Kennedy, Deputy Consul General, Australia, for her address.
Thank you very much and good afternoon. Thank you, Honourable Chief Minister, to ministers and dignitaries here, and to the large gathered group of the global education community who is here together to engage with Gujarat on the education of the future. I want to thank you for allowing me to speak with you here at this auspicious event. I'm Dr. Monica Kennedy. I'm representing the Australian Government in my role as the Senior Trade and Investment Commissioner. And I'm really glad to have the opportunity to speak to you at such an important time in the India-Australia relationship. Certainly, the relationship between our nations is very strong, has never been stronger, and the intersection of India's national education policy with Australia's international education strategy of 2030 gives us a real opportunity to focus on building career opportunities for Indian and Australian youth through education in preparation for skills for the 21st century. Skills for the future in Australia, as it is here in India, rely on interdisciplinarity, on diversity, on access, on creative thinking, on thinking about and working towards an empowered society supported by technology. At Austrade, we're very keen to develop partnerships that will build the prosperity for both of our nations and the skills and futures of our youth. Thank you very much for having us here today.
Thank you, ma'am. We now invite Mr. Fabian, Scientific and Higher Education Attaché for Scientific and Academic Cooperation, France, for his address.
Honorable Chief Minister, honorable ministers, members of the government, academic leaders, fellow mate delegates, and ladies and gentlemen, thank you for having France at this wonderful event. Our ambassador is on his way to come next week with a delegation of 40. So that shows and tells a lot about the ties, the friendship, an old-standing friendship between France and India. There is just one message from France here. You know, if you are into education, and you have noticed some shifts and changes in the scene that is happening in France at the moment. You have seen newly named institutions climbing up the ladder of rankings. Just one fact, if you take the major ranking systems, QS, the THE, or you can go to the ARW, the public system for education, our universities, are represented in this ranking by a proportion of 33, a third, to 40%. 40% of our public institutions are ranked in the global ranking in the world. So this comes with another change, which is the change in the perception and image. France is, of course, as you know, the country where you have studies and lifestyle, luxury, etc. But France is also a country of science, technology, and it reclaims this position it had by doing relationship, by doing international cooperation, especially with India, where the ties are getting stronger and stronger as we move on with time. So the message again here is you will see France, if you really want to have a look at it, you will see us in India. We have 14 Alliances Françaises on all the territory. We have 12 Campus France agencies where you can ask questions about the reality of education in France. And in a world that, as you know, is fairly focused on Anglo-Saxon studies, it is good, I think, for the youth of the country to know that France is back and there is an alternative. There are other possibilities for the students, for the researchers, for the faculty to get in cooperation with, and France would be one of these possibilities. Thank you so much for having us. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. We now invite Mr. Keith Khan, Consul and Senior Trade Commissioner, Canada, for his address.
Chief Minister Patel, distinguished ministers, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. My name is Keith Khan, and I'm the Consul and Senior Trade Commissioner at the Canadian Consulate in Mumbai. First, I'd like to congratulate the organizers for bringing together such an impressive group of participants from government, academia, and industry. It is an honor to be with you today. I'm part of the Trade Commissioner Service, or TCS, a Government of Canada organization helping Canadian companies navigate international markets. In India, we have 8 offices and 50 officers facilitating cross-border trade and investment between Canada and India, including the education sector. To begin, let me just say a few words about the Canada-India commercial relationship. It is becoming increasingly clear that India is one of Canada's fastest growing economic partners. The number of Canadian companies active in India continues to grow and now exceeds 1,000. And around 500 Canadian companies have physical presence in India. The number of Indian companies in Canada is also increasing, and a number of them have chosen Canada as an investment destination. One factor that contributes to the strength of our relationship in virtually all areas is the strong people-to-people ties. India is now Canada's largest source country in all migration categories. And if you look, there are 1.4 million Canadians that trace their roots back to India. And if you consider that there are now 34 flights weekly between our two countries, you can see the scale of our people-to-people connections. Now turn to the strong Canada-India academic relationship. Our two countries have signed an MOU in higher education in 2010 and renewed it in 2015. There is a joint working group that was established to oversee this MOU and its implementation. Organizations such as MyTax and Shashi Indo-Canada Institute are acting as key facilitators to enable student mobility funding programs with the support of government. And more Canadian universities and colleges are collaborating with Indian institutions in research, joint programs, student and faculty exchanges. Over 550 such collaborations are currently active across all disciplines. Canada has also been active in India's education space. Here is just a few examples. At the preschool level, there's the Maple Bear schools that have been in India since 2003. In higher education, Schulich School of Business offers their MBA and graduate programs in India and has a campus in Hyderabad. In Canada, Indian students formed the biggest incoming cohort globally, and over 180,000 Indian students chose to study in Canada in 2020. There are several reasons why Indian students choose Canada and their institutions, including its student-centric approach, innovative programs, including the cooperative education with real-life working experience, and its high-quality education programs at an affordable cost in a safe, welcoming, and multicultural environment. To conclude, I am glad that despite the challenges of the pandemic, we are gathered here today. It is inspiring to see everyone discussing ways to improve the quality of education and to equip the future generation with knowledge, skills, and tools in our fast-changing global and competitive environment. I wish everyone a productive discussions today. Thank you. Merci beaucoup.
Thank you, sir. May we now invite Mr. Man Singh Sidhu, Councillor, S&T and Higher Education, Norway, to share his address with us.
Thank you. Honorable Chief Minister, dignitaries, ladies and gentlemen, very good morning. Namaskar. I would like to start off by thanking the organizers for inviting the Royal Norwegian Embassy, Innovation Norway, and the Team Norway in India for this interesting international conference. International cooperation is a key instrument for enhancing the quality of Norwegian higher education and research. Building long-term relations with partners in the other world, including India, is essential in terms of gaining new insight and new knowledge. India is increasing influential global player. Developments in India have a significant impact on how essential or successful the world is in achieving the Sustainable Development Goal and global climate targets. In the world's largest democracy and rapidly growing emerging economy, For all the reasons and many more, India is increasingly important strategic partner for Norway. Norway government has two important strategies emphasized to need the strengthened Indo-Norwegian cooperation. The first one is India-Norway 2030 strategy. And this strategy is prioritized area for strategic cooperation on research and higher education, as well as there are several thematic areas have been identified in this strategy. To name some is ocean, energy, climate, environment, and global health are important thematic areas where we are looking forward to collaborate with India. The second strategy is Panorama strategy, where Norway has identified 9 different strategic important country partners across the world, and India is one of them, where we are highlighting student exchange, staff exchange, student mobility in that strategy. Several bilateral projects have been funded with India. To name some: bioeconomy, health, ICT, nanotechnology, climate change, clean energy has been well successfully launched between India and Norway. We do have MOU with DST, Government of India, and several joint working groups have been actively working with Indian government. As we are unfortunately know that current COVID-19 pandemic has posed a great challenge to international cooperation. Due to strict travel restriction, the mobility of students and researchers have been reduced drastically, and many research projects are struggling. At the same time, we have also seen that international cooperation is also important than ever. We are fully committed to cooperation with India in the area of higher education and research, and we hope that both can send and receive students and academic staff, as well as participate in a joint research project with our counterparts in India. We do have several projects going on with Gujarat institutes and universities. To name this, we need to accelerate more. So having said that, I'm looking forward to have more cooperation with Gujarat and Gujarat universities. Thank you.
We next invite Ms. Rashi Jain, Director, British Council, UK, for her address.
Thank you very much. Honorable Chief Minister, Shri Bhupendra Bhai Patel ji, and Honorable Education Minister Shri Jitu Bhai Bhagwani ji, key officials of the Gujarat government and the Union government, dignitaries on the dais, and ladies and gentlemen and delegates. First of all, thank you very much for inviting us here. This is a brilliant conference. I'm Rashi Jain. I represent British Council and the UK delegation here today. And I'm very happy that Gujarat has been able to get this fantastic gathering of world's top academic brains and policymakers for ICII 22. And a big thank you and congratulations to Gujarat for that. As you may know, British Council is UK government's international education and cultural links organization with a strong focus on partnering with government stakeholders to create opportunities for young students to help them excel in future. And we know young students are the future of the world. We also know that education is too important to be just left to the educators. And I think conferences like these, the platforms like these are the ones which give a true measure of collaboration and bringing all the minds together to work towards providing inclusive and equitable education to all. And I again thanks Gujarat for giving this opportunity to all the world leaders to be here. Why is Gujarat important for UK? With 1.6 million Britons of Indian descent, of which I'm glad to say Gujarati community accounts for over 45%, the India-UK relationship has established a highly educated and economically diverse and dynamic living bridge between the two countries. This is precisely the reason, again, very proud to say, Honorable Chief Minister, that United Kingdom continues to be the only country with a full diplomatic presence in Gujarat, and we are proud to be partner country for the vibrant Gujarat since inception. This commitment was further strengthened when, in May last year, our two Prime Ministers, Honorable Prime Minister Mr. Boris Johnson and Honorable Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi, virtually met and signed the iconic India-UK 10-year roadmap 2030, which has become an actionable blueprint of mutual collaboration between the two countries for the coming decade. While I would have loved to also tell you about what is contained in the roadmap, as a lot of it is about education, cultural connects, I think the time won't permit me to that. So I would also like to here mention that we very strongly believe that both nations are dedicated to expanding university cooperation, and the United Kingdom is eager to join India's new education policy and contribute to its success. But the collaboration would be incomplete without Gujarat taking part in it. And we also very strongly feel that unless Gujarat and UK work together, success of this roadmap would be a completely distant dream. In Gujarat, the first step in realizing this has been the MOU with the Department of Higher Education to enable more UK-Gujarat higher education collaboration. While the list of initiatives that we have done here jointly with the government of Gujarat is extensive, it would be unfair to conclude without highlighting a few of the numerous examples of collaboration that demonstrate the excellent work that has already begun as part of the Gujarat-UK partnership. To quote a few, since 2014, we have had 7 UK research and innovation bilateral projects with lead Indian research organizations from Gujarat as part of the UK's commitment, with a total investment of £2.7 million across them, match funded by the Government of India. The recently concluded British Council's Going Global Partnership Grant Programme has resulted in 3 strong consortiums between Gujarat universities and UK universities, such as the University of Birmingham, University of Arts London, and Ashton University. These grants, we are very hopeful, will act as a seed fund towards initiating multiple transnational education, exploratory and collaborative partnerships between Gujarat and UK universities. I'm extremely pleased to announce as well that British Petroleum and Pandit Deen Dayal Energy University are at final stages of a partnership for upskilling of more than 1,000 youth as part of the ambitious youth skilling program of Gujarat and supporting PM scholarship program. Last, but certainly not the least, I'm very, very proud again, Honorable CM, to announce that Gujarat has led the way in internationalization by establishing the first of its kind partnership with Edinburgh University to extend support in setting up the new Gujarat Biotechnological University, confirming the vision that if India has reportedly become the world's pharmacy, and we all know that in COVID, Gujarat has become the world's lab. You will hear more about this in the panel discussion later today. I once again would like to reaffirm our commitment as country partners for this conference and for Vibrant Gujarat, and express my gratitude to the organizers for painstakingly bringing us all together under one roof and contributing towards Gujarat's knowledge ambitions. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Gujarat, under the creative leadership of its Chief Minister, Shri Bhupendrabhai Patel, is all set to become an education hub at national and international level, committed to augment skill development and employability skills for a knowledge-based economy. Ladies and gentlemen, let's invite Honorable Chief Minister Shri Bhupendrabhai Patel for his address with a thunderous round of applause.
વાયબ્રન્ટ ગુજરાત 2022 અંતર્ગત ગરવી ગુજરાતના આંગણે આયોજિત ઇન્ટરનેશનલ કોન્ફરન્સ ઓન એકેડેમિક ઇન્સ્ટિટ્યુશનના કાર્યક્રમમાં મારી સાથે મંચ ઉપર ઉપસ્થિત શિક્ષણ વિભાગના મારા વડીલ મુરબ્બી કેબિનેટ મંત્રી શ્રી જીતુભાઈ વાઘાણી, રાજ્ય કક્ષાના મંત્રી શ્રી કુબેરભાઈ ડિંડોર, રાજ્ય કક્ષાના મંત્રી શ્રી કીર્તિસિંહ વાઘેલા, શ્રમ અને રોજગાર અને તથા પંચાયત મંત્રી શ્રી બ્રિજેશભાઈ મેરઝા, અમારા રાજ્યસભાના સાંસદ શ્રી નરહરિભાઈ અમીન, સાંસદ શ્રી પરબતભાઈ પટેલ, પૂર્વ ગૃહમંત્રી શ્રી પ્રદીપસિંહ જાડેજા, કેન્દ્રીય શિક્ષણ સચિવ શ્રીમતી અનિતા કરવાલ, કેન્દ્રીય ઉચ્ચ શિક્ષણ સચિવ શ્રી સંજય મૂર્તિ, મુખ્ય સચિવ શ્રી ગુજરાત પંકજકુમાર, રાજ્યના શિક્ષણ સચિવ શ્રી એસ જે હૈદર, પ્રાથમિક અને ઉચ્ચ શિક્ષણ સચિવ શ્રી વિનોદ રાવ, નીતિ આયોગના શિક્ષણ સલાહકાર શ્રી પ્રેમસિંહ, એઆઈસીટી ચેરમેન શ્રી ડૉક્ટર અનિલ સહસ્ત્રબુદ્ધે, સૌ અધિકારીગણ, વિવિધ દેશોમાંથી પધારેલ શિક્ષણ ક્ષેત્રના સૌ ગણમાન્ય મહાનુભાવો, યુનિવર્સિટીના સૌ કુલપતિ ઉપકુલપતિ, અગ્રગણી નાગરિકો, ભાઈઓ અને બહેનો, પ્રધાનમંત્રી શ્રી નરેન્દ્રભાઈ મોદીએ ભારતને જ્ઞાન વિજ્ઞાનના ક્ષેત્રે વિશ્વગુરુના સ્થાને બિરાજિત કરવાના શિક્ષણ સુધારાની નવી પહેલ કરી છે. માન્ય પ્રધાનમંત્રીના દૂરંદેશી માર્ગદર્શનના 3.5 દાયકા બાદ દેશમાં નવી નેશનલ એજ્યુકેશન પોલિસીની રચના કરવામાં આવી છે. આ નેશનલ એજ્યુકેશન પોલિસી નવા ભારતના નિર્માણમાં બહુ જ મહત્વપૂર્ણ ભૂમિકા નિભાવવાની છે. આદરણીય પ્રધાનમંત્રીના આત્મનિર્ભર ભારતના સંકલ્પને આ નીતિ બળ આપશે. આપણે આત્મનિર્ભર ગુજરાતથી આત્મનિર્ભર ભારતના નિર્માણમાં યોગદાન આપવા સંપૂર્ણ પ્રતિબદ્ધ અને સજ્જ છીએ. મારું માનવું છે કે આત્મનિર્ભર ભારતનો ધ્યેય પરિપૂર્ણ કરવા એનઈપીના માધ્યમથી વિશ્વભરના પ્રતિષ્ઠિત શિક્ષણવિદો, યુનિવર્સિટીના તજજ્ઞો આ વિચાર મંથન ગુજરાતને ગ્લોબલ એજ્યુકેશન હબ બનાવશે. આધુનિક જમાનાને અનુરૂપ આ નવી પોલિસીના અત્યંત અગત્યના પાસાઓ ઉપર મનોમંથન, વિચાર, ચિંતન કરવા માટે વિશ્વના શિક્ષણ ક્ષેત્રના અગ્રણી તજજ્ઞો આજે એક મંચ ઉપર ઉપસ્થિત થયા છે તે ઘણી આનંદની વાત છે. કેનેડા, ઓસ્ટ્રેલિયા, યુનાઇટેડ કિંગડમ, નોર્વે અને ફ્રાન્સ જેવા દેશો આ કોન્ફરન્સમાં કન્ટ્રી પાર્ટનર તરીકે સહભાગી બન્યા છે. બ્રિટિશ કાઉન્સિલ, ટાઈમ હાયર એજ્યુકેશન, વર્લ્ડ બેંક, યુનેસ્કો, યુનિસેફ, UN Women, the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development આ કોન્ફરન્સના આંતરરાષ્ટ્રીય પાર્ટનર્સ છે. એટલું જ નહીં, સ્કિલ ઇન્ડિયા, NSDC, નીતિ આયોગ, AICTE, NBA, NEDCIL અને આઈકેર નેશનલ પાર્ટનર પણ બન્યા છે. આ ઉપરાંત ઘણા એજ્યુકેશન પાર્ટનર્સ અને CII ઇન્વેસ્ટ પાર્ટનર છે. આગામી સપ્તે 10 થી 12 જાન્યુઆરી દરમિયાન વાયબ્રન્ટ ગુજરાત ગ્લોબલ સમિટ યોજાવાની જઈ રહી છે. આજે અહીં શરૂ થયેલી આ ઇન્ટરનેશનલ કોન્ફરન્સ એજ્યુકેશન સેક્ટર માટે વાયબ્રન્ટ સમિટ જ છે. કોઈ પણ દેશના સર્વાંગી વિકાસ માટે એક સુઆયોજિત શૈક્ષણિક નીતિ ખૂબ જરૂરી છે. વડાપ્રધાન શ્રી નરેન્દ્રભાઈના નેતૃત્વમાં નવી રાષ્ટ્રીય શિક્ષણ નીતિના અમલથી દેશ આર્થિક, સામાજિક, રાજકીય, બૌદ્ધિક અને શૈક્ષણિક ક્ષેત્રે ક્રાંતિકારી પરિવર્તન માટે સજ્જ બન્યો છે. દેશમાં મૌલિક અને પ્રતિભા સંપન્ન યુવાનોના ઘડતર માટે સમયને અનુરૂપ જરૂરિયાતો પ્રમાણેની વ્યાપક શિક્ષણ વ્યવસ્થા જોઈએ તે વ્યવસ્થા પૂરી પાડવાનું મોટું કામ માન્ય વડાપ્રધાનની આગેવાનીમાં પાર પડ્યું છે. દેશના સુદૃઢ વિકાસનો પાયો નાખીને આત્મનિર્ભર ભારતના નિર્માણમાં આ પોલિસી મહત્વની ભૂમિકા ભજવશે, એમાં કોઈ શંકા નથી. આત્મનિર્ભર ભારતની પરિકલ્પના હવે વાસ્તવિક સ્વરૂપ ધારણ કરી રહી છે ત્યારે નવી એજ્યુકેશન પોલિસીના સુચારુ અમલીકરણથી ગુણવત્તાયુક્ત શિક્ષણ માટે દેશમાં સાનુકૂળ માહોલ ઊભો થઈ રહ્યો છે. દેશના દરેક વર્ગ અને વિસ્તારના વિદ્યાર્થીઓ માટે ગુણવત્તાસભર શિક્ષણ સહેલાઈથી અને ઓછા ખર્ચે ઉપલબ્ધ બનાવવા પર આ પોલિસીમાં ભાર મૂકવામાં આવ્યો છે. આ ઉપરાંત આ પોલિસી અંતર્ગત ડિજિટલ ઇન્ફ્રાસ્ટ્રક્ચરના ઉપયોગ દ્વારા એજ્યુકેશન સેક્ટરમાં ગુડ ગવર્નન્સ સાકાર થાય એ પણ સુનિશ્ચિત કરવામાં આવશે. કોરોના મહામારીના કાળમાં ડિજિટલ એજ્યુકેશનની કામગીરી આપણે ખૂબ સફળતાપૂર્વક કરી છે અને આવનારા સમયમાં તેના વ્યાપમાં હજી પણ વધારો થશે. 2026 સુધીમાં સરેરાશ 30 વર્ષની આયુ સાથે ભારત દુનિયાનો સૌથી યુવા દેશ બનશે. આ ડેમોગ્રાફિક ડિવિડન્ડનો લાભ લેવા માટે શ્રી નરેન્દ્રભાઈ મોદીની કેન્દ્ર સરકાર ભાવિ નાગરિકોને ધ્યાનમાં રાખીને કેપેસિટી બિલ્ડિંગ, સ્કિલ ડેવલપમેન્ટ, રિસર્ચ એન્ડ ઇનોવેશન માટે ઊંચા લક્ષ્યો સિદ્ધ કરી રહ્યા છીએ. આપણા યુવાનો વર્તમાન અને ભવિષ્યના પડકારોનો સામનો કરવા માટે સજ્જ થઈ મહત્વને વધુ વ્યાપક ફલક આપવા વિશ્વમાં શ્રેષ્ઠ હોય તે ગુજરાતની ધરતી પર ઉતારવાનો શિક્ષણ ક્રાંતિ યજ્ઞ આદર્યો હતો. તેમના દિશા દર્શનમાં આપણે સેક્ટર સ્પેસિફિક એજ્યુકેશન યુનિવર્સિટીની શરૂઆત પાછલા 2 દાયકાથી કરી છે. આજે ગુજરાતમાં 91 જેટલી યુનિવર્સિટીઝ, 2860 ઉપરાંત સંસ્થાઓ દ્વારા આધુનિક જ્ઞાન યુવાનોને ઘર આંગણે પીરસી રહી છે. IIM, IIT, NFSU, GNLU, PDU જેવી ખ્યાતિ પ્રાપ્ત સંસ્થાઓ અને યુનિવર્સિટીનું આ કોન્ફરન્સમાં યોગદાન છે તે પણ અભિનંદનને પાત્ર છે. હું ગૌરવભેર જણાવવા માગું છું કે ગુજરાત સરકારે નેશનલ એજ્યુકેશન પોલિસી 2020ના મુખ્ય પાસાઓ અને અનુરૂપ વિવિધ મહત્વપૂર્ણ પગલાં હાથ ધર્યા છે. 2015થી શરૂ થયેલા મુખ્યમંત્રી યુવા સ્વાવલંબન યોજના અન્વયે ગુજરાત જરૂરિયાતમંદ પ્રતિભાશાળી વિદ્યાર્થીઓને ઉચ્ચ શિક્ષણ માટે સહાય આપવામાં પણ આવી રહી છે. આ સહાયથી સ્વાવલંબનથી આત્મનિર્ભર ભારતની દિશા યુવા શક્તિને મળી રહી છે. કોવિડ મહામારીના સમયમાં વિદ્યાર્થીઓ શિક્ષણ સાથેનો સેતુ જળવાઈ રહે તે માટે સરકારની આ પહેલ ખૂબ ઉપયોગી બની છે. આ કપરા કાળમાં લગભગ તમામ શાળાઓ, કોલેજો અને યુનિવર્સિટી ખૂબ ઝડપથી સફળતાપૂર્વક ઓનલાઈન શિક્ષણનો મોડ અપનાવી શકી છે. ઘણા શિક્ષકોએ પણ શિક્ષણ અને મૂલ્યાંકનની નવી પદ્ધતિઓ અપનાવવા સફળ પ્રયોગ કર્યા. આદરણીય પ્રધાનમંત્રી શ્રી હંમેશા કહે છે કે શિક્ષણ બનાવે કંકરમાંથી શંકર. ગુણવત્તાયુક્ત એટલે કે ક્વોલિટી એજ્યુકેશનથી ઉજ્જવળ ભાવિ પેઢી નિર્માણ માટે ગુજરાતમાં એમના માર્ગદર્શનમાં ગુણોત્સવનો નવો કોન્સેપ્ટ સફળતાપૂર્વક પાર પાડ્યો છે. સમય સાથે ચાલીને ગુજરાતે સ્માર્ટ સ્કૂલ, સ્માર્ટ ક્લાસ, ઓનલાઈન એટેન્ડન્સ, કમાન્ડ એન્ડ કંટ્રોલ સેન્ટર જેવા આધુનિક આયામોથી ક્વોલિટી એજ્યુકેશનની નવી કેડી કંડારી છે. ગુજરાતનું શિક્ષણ ક્ષેત્ર આવા અનેક મજબૂત આધારસ્તંભ પર વિકસી રહ્યું છે. આ જ આધારસ્તંભ પર નવી એજ્યુકેશન પોલિસીનો પણ ખૂબ ઝડપથી અમલ કરવા ગુજરાત પ્રતિબદ્ધ છે. આ પોલિસીના અમલીકરણથી એક નવી ઇકોસિસ્ટમ તૈયાર થશે અને આત્મનિર્ભર ગુજરાતથી આત્મનિર્ભર ભારતના નિર્માણમાં ખૂબ ઉપયોગી બની રહેશે. ભારતીય શિક્ષણ પ્રણાલી અને સંસ્કૃત ભાષાને આજે પ્રધાનમંત્રી શ્રી નરેન્દ્રભાઈના પ્રયાસોથી વૈશ્વિક સ્તરે સન્માન મળી રહ્યું છે. ભારતની સનાતન સંસ્કૃતિમાં સૌકાઓ પહેલાં ગુરુકુળ પરંપરા હતી. એ ગુરુના આશ્રમમાં અનેક વિદ્યાર્થીઓ અભ્યાસ કરતા. અત્યંત સમૃદ્ધ ગુરુકુળ પરંપરાને લીધે દેશમાં જ્ઞાનનો અનોખો મહિમા હતો. વલ્લભી, તક્ષશિલા, નાલંદા જેવી વિદ્યાપીઠો શિક્ષણ માટે વિશ્વ પ્રસિદ્ધ હતી. આર્યભટ્ટ, ભાસ્કરાચાર્ય, ચાણક્ય, પતંજલિ અને પાણીની જેવા વિદ્વાન આચાર્યો ભારતીય સંસ્કૃતિને વિશ્વને આપ્યા છે. દેશાવર્તી શિષ્યો પણ ભારતમાં ભણવા માટે આવતા હતા. સદીઓથી આપણી આવી યુનિવર્સિટીઓ જ્ઞાનના પ્રસારનું મુખ્ય કેન્દ્ર રહી છે. ICAI 2022ના ભાગરૂપે વર્લ્ડ ક્લાસ યુનિવર્સિટી અંગે વાઇસ ચાન્સેલર કોન્ક્લેવનું આયોજન પણ શરૂ છે તે આ વાતની પુષ્ટિ કરાવે છે. આપણી યુનિવર્સિટીને વર્લ્ડ ક્લાસ બનાવવા માટે સમય સાથે કદમ મિલાવતી જરૂરી પદ્ધતિઓ, પ્રણાલીઓ, માળખાગત બાબતો અને અભિગમ અંગેના કેસ સ્ટડીઝને સમજવામાં આ કોન્ક્લેવ ઉપયોગી બનશે એવું મારું સ્પષ્ટ માનવું છે. શિક્ષણ ક્ષેત્રે થયેલા વિવિધ ઇનોવેશન્સ તેમજ ભવિષ્યમાં કેવા ઇનોવેશન સંભવ છે તેને સમજવાનો અવસર અહીં આયોજિત વાઇબ્રન્ટ એક્ઝિબિશનથી સૌને મળશે. નેશનલ એજ્યુકેશન પોલિસી 2020ની ફળ સ્વરૂપે દેશની શિક્ષણ પ્રણાલીનું ચિત્ર બદલાઈ રહ્યું છે. વિદ્યાર્થીઓની જિજ્ઞાસા વૃત્તિ તેમજ સંશોધન ક્ષમતામાં પણ આનાથી ચોક્કસ મોટો વધારો થશે. શિક્ષણ ક્ષેત્રની આ સુઆયોજિત પહેલના લીધે આપણો દેશ વૈશ્વિક સ્તરે ખૂબ ઝડપથી વધુ સ્પર્ધાત્મક બની શકશે. ભારતીય તત્વજ્ઞાનમાં તો જ્ઞાન, સત્ય અને પ્રજ્ઞાને સમજવાનું સર્વોચ્ચ લક્ષ્ય માનવામાં આવ્યું છે. મનુષ્યની આંતરિક સંભાવનાઓ પૂર્ણ રીતે ખીલી ઉઠે, સમરસ સમાજનું નિર્માણ અને રાષ્ટ્રનો વિકાસ થાય, સાથોસાથ ચારિત્રવાન પેઢીનું ઘડતર થાય, એ માટે પણ શિક્ષણ એ પાયાની આવશ્યકતા છે. શિક્ષણ એવું હોવું જોઈએ જે વ્યક્તિને સારી રોજગારી તો આપે જ, સાથે સાથે ચારિત્રનું ઘડતર પણ કરે. વ્યક્તિને નૈતિક, તર્કબદ્ધ, કરુણામય અને અન્યોની દરકાર રાખનાર બનાવે તેવા શિક્ષણના પ્રસાર અને પ્રચાર અને વૈચારિક આદાન પ્રદાન માટે આ સમિટ એક ઉત્તમ મંચ બનશે. પ્રધાનમંત્રી શ્રી નરેન્દ્રભાઈએ દેશને આપેલી નેશનલ એજ્યુકેશન પોલિસી એમાં ઉદ્દીપક બનશે. શિક્ષણ ક્ષેત્રના પરસ્પર શ્રેષ્ઠ અનુભવોના આદાન પ્રદાનથી આ સમિટ ગુજરાતને ગ્લોબલ એજ્યુકેશન હબ ચોક્કસ બનાવશે જ. મને વિશ્વાસ છે કે નવી એજ્યુકેશન પોલિસીના અસરકારક અમલીકરણમાં તેમજ સૌ સ્ટેક હોલ્ડર્સ દ્વારા આ પોલિસીના લક્ષ્યાંકોની સિદ્ધિમાં કોન્ફરન્સનું યોગદાન મહત્વનું બનશે. આ સમિટને ફરી એકવાર સફળતાની શુભેચ્છાઓ પાઠવી વિરમું છું. જય જય ગરવી ગુજરાત. ભારત માતા કી જય. વંદે માતરમ.
Thank you, Honorable Chief Minister, sir, for that very enlightening address. And with that, we conclude this session. We take this opportunity to thank Honorable Chief Minister, Honorable Minister of Education, Government of Gujarat, and other dignitaries on the dais for their valuable presence. We also extend our gratitude to all our representatives and delegates from India and around the globe, academicians, researchers, students, stakeholders, corporates, and all others who have lent their support to this conference. We acknowledge the support of our country partners, international partners, national partners, and educational partners. A special word of thanks for members of the print and electronic media. With that, we conclude this session. We request all liaising officers to escort and accompany their dignitaries. We now take a short break for a warm cup of tea to reassemble for the first technical session. Over to Dr. Nupur Sinha. Thank you. Signing off here is your compere for this inaugural plenary, Hina Saxena,